What's happening, people? It is Bet and Breakfast on a Thursday. We are getting set for the AFC and NFC Championship games along with our best bets for a little bit later on today. I'm Ben. To my left on the screen is Donnavan Smoot. Below me, Iain MacMillan. Guys, good to see you. Good to be back here on a Thursday. We got a lot going on. We're going to try out a new game on the podcast today. It's going to debut the first episode of Pick Proper Total. And then also some fun news that we have to announce at the end of the show today as well. But guys, I was thinking about this because Donovan brought this up at the beginning, like right before we were about to get started. And I learned from many years in radio that if you have a really good take and you're discussing it amongst friends and coworkers, if you're going on air a little bit later and you hear something that sounds really good, you just say, stop, save it, keep it fresh, keep it real. I want to be able to react to this in real time. So Donovan, you were talking about how the playoffs this year have a little bit of a new feel to it. And I was wondering if you could expand on that because I like the direction that you were going.
Yeah, and so I was having a conversation earlier this week, and with Brian, who also works, over at BetSided with us, and he was saying that it's a good idea, and it's good for that we have new blood in the playoffs with Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, those type of quarterbacks, and I was saying that it's not honestly that good. I don't like seeing new blood in the playoffs. I'd rather see a dominant figure stranglehold conferences. I think sports are better when there's a Death Star to take down, and it's just weird whenever history, like if Mahomes and the Chiefs continue on whatever they're doing, and then there's this one random year where like Joe Burrow and the Bengals get this Disney story and they come and they beat them. I look back on it and I don't like that. I don't like when randomness comes into play. It's like the biggest example I could tell you. It's like in Madden. It's like in Madden when Peyton Hillis was the cover of Madden. That's the worst cover of Madden because you have all of these just great all time players, and you have a year of Peyton Hillis. And so I don't think that like I don't think that like new blood or Cinderella stories are great. I'm not a fan of it.
Really quickly, because I know
Unless it's my team.
Okay, all right. So putting that aside,
I'll put that right, but in the general sense, no.
Do you feel that same way about, say, the NCAA tournament?
No, because I think that, especially now with a lot of college basketball being one and done, the programs change a lot and the rosters and the makeups change a lot, and so you're not going to go and have like a 4-year stretch of like a Christian Laettner from Duke or like those of like the Fab Five. You're not going to get the chance to see a core grow together, so it's kind of different there.
What are your thoughts, Iain?
So, like in an ideal world for you, Donovan, just Tom Brady would have just stayed with the Patriots and they would have won another 15 Super Bowls over the next 20 years. Who wants to see that? I'm sick of them. I don't want to see the same teams keep winning. Part of the fun of sports is seeing the underdog, seeing the guy who, against all odds, beat everyone and then finally won a championship. There's no feel-good story about Tom Brady winning his 8th Super Bowl. Who cares? It doesn't mean anything to him anymore. I want to see a guy out of nowhere lead a team to a championship, a city that's never won a championship. Those are the best stories because then you get fans going nuts all over the streets. That's what I want to see. Who cares? Nobody even in Boston even cares about championships anymore. They win too many.
Stop it. There's a reason why Tiger Woods was one of the biggest athletes in the world because he wins all the time. There's a reason why Tom Brady, right, your arch nemesis, is arguably the GOAT of GOATs in terms of like football, right? In terms of like power rankings. There's a reason why he's there. It's because he wins. I can't stand when people are like, oh my gosh, it's so fun. Do you think, like, especially in the NBA, do you think that it would be fun if we got like Cleveland, Phoenix one year, and then we got Orlando, Sacramento the next, and they're just like random?
That sounds like the definition of fun to me. Yes, that sounds amazing.
That's terrible, and it's not fun. Like we having in the NBA having LeBron go to the finals 8 years in a row, 9 years in a row. That's great. At a certain point, you should look at what you're seeing and you should appreciate the greatness for what it is. Last year, although I was going for the Chiefs, as soon as the Buccaneers won, I was sitting there and I was like, you know what? Good for Tom Brady. Good. I actually said that. And at this point,
I'm happy for the guy who's won 12 Super Bowls already. You know what? He really deserved a 13th Super Bowl. Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to win. It's hard to win. And listen, as a Falcons fan, I know that you don't know what like winning a Super Bowl is like. So you don't know like what it takes to get there. But as an Eagles fan, that was hard, right? So I know the process to get to a Super Bowl. And so I see Brady go and do it. And I'm like, man, good for you. Good for you. Could you keep doing it? You're really good at your job.
I don't think the Tiger Woods comparison is fair because he doesn't have a city attached to him. It's not like the city of Tiger Woods celebrates after he wins the Masters. Because football is more about just one player.
There's a whole different conversation about who celebrates with Tiger Woods after he wins. But Tiger in himself is an entity, and the fact that he wins all the time is very good for.
I agree with that for golf, but I think team sports and sports where that comes from a city, I think it's different. I like seeing fan bases who are used to or who have never won win something. See, I feel good for them. Imagine how crazy Cincinnati will go if the Bengals win the Super Bowl. Cincinnati's never won anything.
And guess what will happen in 2 years? Nobody will care. Nobody will care if the Bengals win the Super Bowl. It means nothing.
People in Cincinnati mean something.
Unless the only way that the Bengals Super Bowl means anything is if they do it again, right? If it's just a fluke, if it's just a fluke, nobody cares. It's a flash in the pan, and it happened, and then we're gonna look back, and then we're gonna be like, wow, we really let the Bengals get a Super Bowl. Like that's
Donnavan,
crazy.
There's a statue of Nick Foles talking to Doug Peterson outside of Eagle Stadium. You think they forgot about the Super Bowl 2 years later?
That's really crazy. The Eagles now are also different than Cincinnati because they've been to a Super Bowl before. They have a history of playoff success. While they never had one before that, they also got one. But while they had never been there before that, they had kind of been accustomed to it. But listen, and
so shitty teams should just live in the basement of their leagues forever. They don't deserve championship.
I don't want to take too many shots at you, so I'm going to take this one last shot, right? And I'm going to take this
the most gentle of shots fired that I've ever heard. Go ahead.
One of my least favorite championships in the NBA is the Raptors championship in 2019. I'm
not a Raptors fan, so that's all right.
Okay, cool. I didn't know because I didn't know. But
no, you remember he roots for whatever team Luka Garza is playing for. So right now
that's right.
Pistons fan now.
That is my least favorite championship because Kawhi leaves the year after, and once again, nobody cares. It means nothing. It is a bridge championship, and it means absolutely nothing. The whole team was dismantled right after, or Kawhi left, and the Raptors like did what they did. But we're gonna look back and we're gonna be like, wow, Canada got one. Like that's really
that
crazy.
Championship is like a monumental moment in Canadian sports. For you to say nobody cares just dismisses an entire country of sports fans. Every year, the Kawhi shot against the 76ers is replayed over and over and over. Like that championship is everything to Canada.
The best thing we got from that entire championship run, and I'm not even lying, is the meme of Drake where he's like clearly drunk and just pointed around and like, look around. We made this. This wasn't here.
Chips with the dip, man.
That's lit. Exactly. I want my chips with the dip. That's it. Right. But notice it is. He said chips, plural, not one. It only matters if you do it again. Otherwise, congrats.
You can't say nobody cares. It's literally like a historic moment in Canadian sports.
In NBA history, nobody cares about that chip.
All right. So this has been fun, and I know we obviously still got stuff to get into.
It just doesn't matter
for the NFC and the AFC Championship. I hate to answer this as pragmatically as possible, but I think you're both right. I think the issue is if you have two teams that nobody felt were deserving. then it makes for a far less compelling storyline. Yes, it's two underdogs that having a unique, like if the 49ers and the Bengals play in the Super Bowl, I don't think that's as exciting as somebody trying to take on a team like the Chiefs that's been there, that's won a Super Bowl over the last couple of years. But if you have 49ers and Chiefs, that's really interesting to me. There's a rematch from the last couple of years. You have the 6 seed going up against the top dog, even though they weren't the number 1 seed in the AFC. In March Madness, you had Butler and Duke, and even though the game was, hot garbage, I think both teams scored in the 40s. From a storyline angle, you had Duke at the top of the mountain. You had Butler trying to make their way up to the mountain and make a really intriguing play along the way. I think it works when you have a top dog and an underdog in the mix. Then I think that matchup becomes compelling. And where I would disagree with you on the Raptors side, Donnavan, is that, even though that team got completely dismantled, there's still a superstar there. There's still an aspect of a team dynamic that I thought was really interesting. And it was also a shock to everybody. I think when people talk about the Raptors, they're not going to talk about the dominance there, but I think that doesn't have to be the storyline. The storyline can be Kawhi went to this team, brought up everybody with a coach that took over in his first or second year, in Nick Nurse, that nobody, I thought Nick Nurse was I was like, who the hell is this guy? He kind of looks like me. He's not going to win a championship.
I was just going to say that. You kind of look like him, to be honest.
Yeah. He's my doppelganger. So I should have naturally been rooting for him. And I was just like, I don't get where this guy is coming from. I don't know what the angle is, but you're telling me he's going to take Kawhi and the rest of this group and win a championship. I didn't think it was possible. I will remember that team in a very unique fashion, even though they got dismantled. It's like the 97 Marlins, right? Like that team played an awesome World Series, ended up beating Cleveland in walk-off fashion. And even though they tore down the team, the 2 times that the Marlins won the World Series, I remember that team very vividly for a different reason than, say, them reaching the mountaintop and staying there for a long time. This is really good. And I know that people want to weigh in as well. Although actually one question that just came in said, any thoughts on the upcoming NASCAR season? I don't have any.
I'm so sorry. I cannot give you any insight to that.
I know this guy. This guy loves. It's a big NASCAR guy. I know this guy. This guy's commented on some things for the past couple of years.
I was going to say, if he's NASCAR,
to him, NASCAR is the only sport out there. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he's NASCAR expert, we should be the one asking him the questions. Right. But I don't have anything. Is Jeff Gordon still racing? Is that dude still around? No.
I'll say
AJ Allmendinger. Is that somebody's name?
Is Jimmy Johnson still there?
Jimmy Johnson. Yeah, I think we're stuck in a different generation. We will have Daytona 500 analysis. I just think we've all been locked into football and college basketball and NBA and NHL.
That's what it is.
Donovan's been crushing it with our Australian Open coverage. So we'll get to the Daytona 500 plays at some point. Let's try out this new game. I'm excited about this. Normally on Thursdays throughout the college and NFL season, we've been doing a little bit of player fade, but I wanted to try something out where we can still go through each of the 2 championship games. Of course, you have the Bengals and the Chiefs. Chiefs are 7-point favorites at home in the early afternoon game over at Arrowhead. It's supposed to be gorgeous weather in Kansas City. I think kickoff's supposed to be 43 degrees and sunny, not wind. No wind being a factor there. And then in the NFC Championship game that's going to be played inside over at SoFi Stadium, Rams are a 3.5-point favorite at home with a total substantially lower. That comes in at 46.5. So I will start this one off with Iain. Let's start with the AFC Championship pick. I'm giving you a pick, a prop, or a total to choose from amongst all the different bets that you're likely making. Which of them is your favorite? Which one are you going to go with?
Going to go with T. Higgins over 70 and a half receiving yards in the AFC Championship for my favorite player prop. I already gave out my picks on the spread earlier in the week, so I figured I'd go player prop here. Jamar Chase, the last time the Bengals played against the Chiefs, got, 266 receiving yards, I think it was, most among any receiver in an NFL game all season. So if I'm trying to big brain this pick, I would think that the Chiefs' number one concern would be to shut down Jamar Chase. They obviously aren't going to want him to catch for almost 300 yards again. If they try to shut down Jamar Chase, that should open up the other options, hopefully T. Higgins. So that's my thinking for that one. I like T. Higgins over 70 and a half receiving yards.
All right, Donnavan, the floor is to you. I like the Higgins play as well. I think especially too, considering that you're going to have to double him at some point. You got Cook. That was the best wide receiver performance by any player this season, that week 17 game in Cincinnati against the Kansas City Chiefs. And to make matters worse, you just had Gabriel Davis go for, 8 receptions, 200 yards, and 4 touchdowns against them. So I like the Higgins call quite a bit. What about for you, Donnavan? Pick, prop, or total for Bengals versus Chiefs?
I'm going with the pick. I'm going Bengals +7. I do think that the Chiefs are going to come out on top, but I don't think that they're going to blow Cincinnati out the door. The Bengals are the 4th best team against the spread this year. They're 12-7. Our homie Peter, he wrote a story earlier this week about Joe Burrow's underdog record. He's 7-3 against the spread as an underdog this year, and the Chiefs as a home favorite were just over 500 against the spread. I think that Cincinnati's offense is too explosive. I think that they're going to put a lot of pressure on that Kansas City defense. I'm still trusting Mahomes. Listen, after he had technically a 10-second drill to get them down in the field goal range, I trust Patrick Mahomes with my life, and so I'm not going to bet against him this week. But I do think that Cincinnati will be able to keep it kind of close.
All right. Fair enough. I think it's going to be a really interesting game. And I think from the perspective of the Bengals, there's not a lot of conversation about them right now, but they can put up points. They can put up points in a hurry. And you saw that evidenced already back in week 17. For my play, I am going for a total. I like the over quite a bit. Over at 54 for win bet between the Chiefs and the Bengals, only because there's a wide variety of factors in play. First is Patrick Mahomes. I saw this note from our guy, Brian Jeffra, over at BetSided. Mahomes has thrown for 31, 35, and 38 points in his 3 AFC Championship games. We're talking about really good weather. Also, they moved the ball on Cincinnati fairly easily in the first half. The last time they played, they put up 28 points, just took their foot off the gas pedal last time. And you know that if Burrow is going to keep up with Kansas City's offense, they're going to have to throw. And you already have 3 wide receivers in Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins, 2 of which have had 3 of the top 5 receiving games in the NFL this season. Jamar Chase has had 2 of them, the number 1, the number 3. Higgins has gone for 196 yards sometime this year as well. If you try to take one of them out of the game, there are multiple guys on the Bengals team that can beat you. And especially if the Chiefs do not have Tyrann Mathieu, you saw last week, mentioned Gabriel Davis going for 8 catches, 200 yards, and 4 touchdowns. At some point, your secondary is going to be decimated trying to figure out how to stop some of these guys. The game plan should be very simple for Cincinnati, is find those mismatches in the secondary, take advantage of them, and move the ball downfield using Joe Mixon to try and mix things up, incorporate some play action. So I think this game has total of 54 overwritten all over it. Love that play. I've already jumped on it multiple times. All right. To the NFC Championship game. Donnavan, this time I will start with you as we continue our new game of pick, prop, or total. NFC Championship Rams, 3.5-point favorites at home at SoFi Stadium with a total of 46.5. To which I ask you, are you going pick? Are you going prop? Or are you going total in this matchup?
Once again, I'm going to go with pick in this one. I'm going Rams -3.5. Iain told us before we came on that the consensus line is Rams, 51% and Niners 49%. So I guess I'm siding, with the public in this one. But I think that this game is going to come down to quarterback play, and I do not trust Jimmy Garoppolo to have a good game in the NFC Championship game. In his 5 starts in playoffs, he has thrown for 121.7 yards per game, and he has 2 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. I don't like those numbers. I don't trust him. I think if you have Aaron Donald on one side, Von Miller on the other, you have Jalen Ramsey on the outside, there's going to be a lot of pressure coming Jimmy G's way, and I don't think that he's going to be able to handle it. Cooper Kupp is, and I know that I've said that Cooper Kupp isn't like a top 5 wide receiver in the league, and I said that earlier, and I might still believe that, but Cooper Kupp's nice, and he's going to put a lot of pressure on that 49er secondary. I think Odell Beckham, even he's had 2 subpar games against the Niners. Last week, though, he had 8 targets. He was very involved in the offense. That Rams offense is clicking right now, so I think that offensively they're going to be able to outscore San Francisco, and they're going to win this game by more than a field goal.
All right, Iain. Pick proper total. NFC Championship game. What's the play?
Donovan, did I hear you right?
He's
Did you
gonna
say
come
you're still saying Cooper Kupp's not a top 5 receiver in the NFL?
I said I might. I have to go through the list again. I honestly haven't thought about it since then.
He's a Triple Crown winner. He has to be.
Nobody has to be anything. Let's get that straight. Nobody has to be anything. We'll talk about this later.
You're killing me today, Donovan. You're killing me.
We'll talk about this later.
All right, I'm going with another prop for the NFC Championship game. I'm going to take an under. Going to go under 71.5 rushing yards for Elijah Mitchell. A little bit of a tough one, especially because we know the 49ers are going to run the ball a ton. He did slightly go over this total in their Week 18 matchup against the Rams, but I'm going to trust the Rams' run defense, 5th in opponent yards per carry so far this NFL season. And the 49ers couldn't run the ball last week against one of the worst run defenses in the Packers. So I'm not fully confident in the 49ers run game this week going up against the Rams defense. And I am on the Rams as well. I think they're going to get up early. And if they get up early, that's going to limit the chances the 49ers will have to run the ball. So I'm not super confident about this play. Anytime I'm playing under on a player prop, it feels a little weird, but I think the number is a little bit too high on this rushing total. So Elijah Mitchell under 71.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, Rams have been very solid against the run throughout the course of the year. Mitchell's had some big games, but I think they're going to have to make sure you take him away. Also, I think we need to consider the health of Trent Williams in this game as well, something worth considering. I'm going to go prop for NFC Championship game. I like the anytime touchdown number at WinBet for Juwan Jennings, plus 600. This guy dropped 2 touchdowns the last time they played. They had no answer for him in the slot. He finished with 7 targets, 6 catches for 95 yards, 2 touchdowns in that matchup. And even if you're saying, all right, we can't let Juwan Jennings beat us, well, you still have to take care of Deebo Samuel. You still have to take care of Brandon Ayuk. You still have to worry about Elijah Mitchell. There's just plenty of playmakers. And then, I'm sorry, I didn't even include George Kittle in the mix as well. You have to worry about him in the middle of the field. So you're probably going to have to put some of your best slot corners over there. It just opens everything up for Juwan Jennings in this matchup. He clearly knows how to exploit the Rams' pass defense, and the fact that he's already gotten multiple touchdowns and plenty of looks and targets. This seems like an ideal play, even though you're chasing it a little bit for an anytime touchdown. But plus 600. I mean, Trey Lance is plus 800 to get a touchdown. You're telling me that a guy at plus 600 in Jennings, who's already done it multiple times this year, can't get back in the end zone? To me, that is an absolute steal of a line, and I love it for the NFC Championship game. Before we get out of here, we, of course, have our best bets for Thursday, January 27th. We like to wrap up our show by going through our favorite plays of the day. So, Donnavan, I will kick things off with you. I'll follow up because we're both on the same game, and Iain, you will close things out. So who do you like?
I'll keep this one short. So I like the under in the Sixers-Lakers game. The line is at 219. The under is 3-2 in the last 5 Laker games. The Sixers are the 5th best team in the league at hitting the under, and the Sixers play at the 4th lowest pace in the league. I think this game, especially with Anthony Davis being back, I think the defensive potential of this game is a lot higher than what it would have been about a week ago. So I think we can kind of keep this one down below 219.
All right, very good. I'm going to go with that game as well, but I do like the Sixers to cover at home. I think a lot of folks are going to be on the Lakers. They always remain a very public team in the fact that you can get them at plus odds right now. They're going to be a popular money line pick against the Sixers, but Joel Embiid right now is on a whole other level. He has become the MVP top favorite over at WinBet right now. Last 4 games that he's played in, 42 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 38, 12, and 6, 40, 13, and 6, 50, 12, and 2. He's on an absolute tear right now. Even if Davis does play, I just don't know if you're going to have anybody that can slow him down inside. And they're also finally starting to make a few more shots despite them playing with a fairly slow pace. So I like the under call, even though the Lakers have not been a good team defensively this year. But the Sixers play slow. They like to try and be as efficient as possible. But I do like them to cover that 1.5 tonight. Iain, you're on the college side, a little Big Ten action between Iowa and Purdue. What's the play over there?
Yeah, going to take Iowa on the money line here. They are slight underdogs. I think Purdue's being a little bit overrated. Are they a good team? Yes, absolutely. Are they deserving of being 2.5-point road favorites? It's road favorites against Iowa. I don't think so whatsoever. When you look at a lot of the stats in this matchup, The two teams rank very similar to a lot of them, 91st and 94th in defensive efficiency, 1st and 4th in offensive efficiency. And one of the things that I like about Iowa the most is that they don't turn the ball over whatsoever. 3rd fewest turnovers per possession in the country right now, only coughing up the ball on 12.3% of possessions. That's going to be big at home underdog, conference game, obviously. I'm going to take a shot on them. I just think I would set this line at around to pick them. I think Purdue is just a little bit overrated right now. So I'm going to take a shot at Iowa at home.
Yeah, Iowa's always been a very dangerous team at home as well. And they like to push pace. Purdue likes to try and slow things down just a tad, but some very talented scorers on that Purdue team. Before we get out of here, quick fun little announcement that if you enjoy the pod and you've been listening to us or checking us out over on YouTube or on Twitter, throughout the week on Monday and Thursday, we're going to do a special show this upcoming Sunday, a special edition of Bet and Breakfast. It'll be myself, Iain, Peter Dewey, who's normally on with us on Mondays, and special guest NFL insider over at FanSided, Matt Verderam. He's going to join us before he goes on for the Arrowhead Addict live stream ahead of Chiefs and Bengals. Should be a lot of fun. Hope you guys will join us. 1 p.m. Eastern, we'll go through our favorite bets and props and plays for both of the championship games, and also start talking about some potential Super Bowl props and futures as well in the mix as well. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure you guys check us out and join us for that. And that is, of course, our show. For my guys, Donnavan and Iain, hopefully the fighting has stopped and everybody can get back in harmony after. No, Donnavan's saying he's done.
Never.
He's done with you, Iain. We'll figure it out. But a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys joining us. May all of your bets hit today, and we will be back on a special Bet and Breakfast this upcoming Sunday. Until then, we'll talk to you guys soon. Be good.